You're listening to My Part of Town, Chattanooga, a podcast tour of our city by the people who know it best. Each episode features a conversation about a different neighborhood or aspect of life here in the scenic city. My name is Michael Crosa. Thank you for stopping by. This episode is sponsored by Heather Hendrickson at the Hendrickson Agency, a local insurance agency properly protecting your most precious possessions. I'll tell you more after the show, but in the meantime, please enjoy this episode of My Part of Town, Chattanooga. The Tennessee River cuts right through the heart of Chattanooga. On one side is the majority of downtown. It has the aquarium, the Lookout Stadium, and lots of other high-rise buildings. And on the other side of the river lies a smaller section of downtown called the North Shore.
Hello, this is Laura.
Hey Laura, this is Michael. How are you?
Hey, Michael, I'm doing great. How's it going?
Going well, going well. Is now still a good time to talk for the podcast?
Heck yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So tell me about your part of town.
So, my part of town is the North Shore area. I have lived here for about a year and a half. I moved back here from Huntsville, but was born and raised in Chattanooga and always wanted to live in this neighborhood and am absolutely loving it.
Okay, so you grew up in Chattanooga, left, and came back,
I did.
right?
I couldn't
Yeah.
stay away. Yeah. I've always wanted to come back, especially when we had our child. We wanted to be back home, but just because this is a great place to raise a family and just to be close to family ourselves was really important. So we're so happy to be back. And I just feel like it's really cool seeing how the city's evolved since I was growing up.
This is my friend Laura Slayton. As you heard, she's a Chattanooga native and is now a resident of the North Shore.
Growing up, it always seemed like it was the cool place to live because there are so many fun places that you can walk from here. There are great parks. There's obviously the bridge in downtown that's super accessible from this area. Great shopping and restaurants. And the neighborhood itself has really great historical architecture, beautiful older homes that have been really well maintained. So it was just somewhere I always wanted to be. I love being close to town, but also having the more neighborhoody, quaint feel. And I definitely feel like that's what we have in this area.
This is a sentiment that is echoed by Brieanne Maya.
Hi, I am Brieanne Maya. I'm a real estate agent in Tennessee.
And you may recognize her from the episode about Cleveland.
North Shore is a relatively small part of Chattanooga, but has what I would consider probably a more curated feel. You have a lot of young professionals, you have a lot of really developed professionals there, a lot of boutiques and local restaurants and things there. So it's really it's a community favorite for shopping and restaurants and things like that. And it's super close and accessible to the main downtown area. So it's a place that a lot of people really love for its kind of own unique culture and hub that it represents for Chattanooga.
Frazier Avenue, as you might guess, is along the northern shore of the Tennessee River, and it's the southern border of North Shore, the neighborhood. This area has so much going on for it that it deserves its own episode, and so that's why this is North Shore Part 1. The areas north of this are sometimes referred to as North Chattanooga, and you'll hear about them next time.
There are kind of I would say two main areas for shopping around our neighborhood, and that's mainly the Frazier Avenue area, which has a bunch of really cool local shops like Blue Skies and Winderbender and River City Apparel, and then some great restaurants like Frazier Five and Dime and Clumpy's Ice Cream, of course, and some really good hidden gems like River Street Deli. I don't know if you've been there, but it's the best sandwiches in
No, I
town.
haven't.
Oh my gosh, you have to.
One of my favorite parts of making this podcast is hearing different people say that they're excited about the same thing in any given neighborhood. For example,
River Street's Deli. I have not eaten there yet, but my husband says it's the best sandwich he's ever had in his entire life. It's owned by a New Yorker, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, very traditional Italian style subs and things like that. My husband, shameless plug, owns North Shore Barbershop. And so he's out there obviously every day. And so I meet him for lunch and things. Taco Mamacita is a favorite for sure. I love Cuban food. It's just I went to Cuba and then immediately fell in love. And so they have Embargo, which is a local Cuban restaurant there that's absolutely delicious, in my opinion. There's just so many. There's so many. You have Cherry Street Brewing that just opened. So many coffee shops. Be Caffeinated, Milk and Honey is a coffee shop. There's no shortage of places to get a great beverage or get a really good meal in North Shore. That's for sure.
personally, I have a sweet tooth.
Test, test. Hi, Matt.
Oh, hi, Megan. What am I saying?
Hi, I am Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan.
One of my favorite spots in North Shore is called the Chattanooga Cookie.
Yeah, I'm Megan. Or I'm Matt. She's Megan. We own the Chattanooga Cookie downtown on the North Shore.
And we are a specialty cookie bakery. We have 8 flavors, 2 of which are rotating feature flavors that we change out monthly. And then this month, February flavors are chocolate covered cherry and salted caramel and walnut.
Those flavors will have rotated away by the time that you're hearing this, but I had the chocolate covered cherry and it was amazing. I met with Megan and Matt in the back office of their bakery. You could probably even hear the hum of bakery machinery in the background. Matt grew up in Chattanooga, so I asked his take on the North Shore.
Oh, wow. As a Chattanooga native, I would say it's probably very transformative. I've seen probably in the past 25 years where the North Shore started out as strictly warehouses. This was adjacent to downtown when Chattanooga was an industrial city. And so then I remember the first thing that ever came down here was it was a hot sauce shop. It's like when the hot sauce shops, it weren't even really a concept. These guys had grabbed it from somewhere else. And unfortunately, I feel like they were way ahead of their time because I think they were open for about a year and a half. And I mean, we frequented it, but just there wasn't the surrounding area. And so what they've really done with the North Shore is really blended the old with the new, where they've kept a lot of the residential and the architectural stuff, a lot of the old buildings, but then everybody has been able to kind of put together, just like we have. We're in a new building, but then some of the other shops down the street are in old buildings, those old warehouses and stuff like that. So it's just probably, to put one word on it, it would be eclectic. As far as that, kind of a little eclectic tourist spot and local spot, if you like what's down here.
Yeah. We'll hear more from Matt and Megan in future episodes. But for now, let's check back with Laura to talk about another city landmark in North Shore called Coolidge Park.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Coolidge is so fun. So it was actually built when I was growing up, and it was like the hot new place to hang, and still is, of course. So with Coolidge Park, you've got a lot of really great family and kid-oriented stuff. There's a carousel, there's a splash pad. There are really cool little stops along the walking path with like musical instruments and drums to play. And then there's a great area in the park that you can play frisbee or soccer, that kind of thing. And then also in the park, they have, you can rent paddle boards or kayaks, so you can actually access the river from there. And get in, you don't want to swim, but you can definitely get into paddleboard or do that kind of thing. And then there's also a climbing wall under the bridge. One of the pillars for the bridge is actually a climbing wall. So there's a lot of really cool outdoor stuff to do.
And here's what Brieanne had to say about all that.
It's a really beautiful park with that great history that you have with that, like I said, that iconic carousel. And there's just so much beauty because that area borders the Tennessee River, and it's just so easily accessible. And Chattanooga is the neighborhoods are pretty condensed. So when you can find those opportunities to be out in nature and have that space, people love that around here. That's one of the things that I love the most about Chattanooga is how much everybody loves to be outside and how much they take pride in providing places like Coolidge Park and so many hiking trails. There's a plethora of opportunities, and the community takes a lot of pride in having those opportunities for people to be outside and explore. So that's one of my favorite things about Chattanooga, and one of the nice things about North Shore is you have Coolidge Park, which is like the perfect opportunity.
I feel like we have a lot of the benefits of kind of like an urban lifestyle, but like I said, it's definitely also got that kind of suburban quaint feeling like we have neighbors that we play and hang out with all the time, and we feel very, sheltered in our little street, but we can also walk to probably 10 different restaurants and tons of shops and go walk the bridge and be able to get downtown, on foot from here, which is incredible. So we love it.
It's hard to do justice to just how fun and charming the North Shore area is. People love talking about it to the point that when I approach folks about being on the show, it's one of the most popular places that people want to talk about. And we'll keep talking about it in the next episode. But until then, I'd love to say thanks to everyone who was on today. And I'd like to remind the audience of who our guests were and how they helped make Chattanooga such a wonderful and lovely place. I'm feeling kind of hungry, so let's start by going back to those cookies.
We are on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at The Chattanooga Cookie. Our website is www.thechattanooga.cookie.com. And honestly, like I said, if you just Google us or Google Chattanooga Bakery, we'll be there.
Yeah, Google Chattanooga and cookies, and something of ours will pop up. It won't be too hard.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Cool. Thanks, y'all.
Awesome.
Hey, I am Laura Slayton. I am located here in North Chattanooga. My business is Midtown Mortgage Company. We support mortgages across all programs, so conventional, FHA, VA, and USDA. And we can also do some really cool specialty programs like new construction loans and renovation, as well as refinance. So we can really service across the board in terms of any type of mortgage needs. Yeah.
Cool. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you about that, how would they go about contacting you?
Yeah, they can check out our website, which is midtownmtg.com, or they can check me out on social media. It's Laura Slayton, and would love to connect and chat more about mortgages or North Chat or, whatever.
Okay. Hi, I am Brieanne Maya. I'm a real estate agent in Tennessee, and you can reach me at briesalleschat@gmail.com.
Thanks so much to Laura, Brieanne, and Matt and Megan for being on the show. Listeners, if you meet any of them in person, please tell them I said hello. We'll be back with part 2 of North Shore in the next episode of My Part of Town, Chattanooga. This episode is sponsored by the Hendrickson Agency, a local insurance agency properly protecting your most precious possessions. The owner, Heather Hendrickson, is a friend of mine, and you'll be hearing her voice in different episodes of the show. Heather is a wonderfully warm and welcoming person. She's able to demystify the insurance buying process, even for people like me who, quite frankly, need a lot of help in that department. Heather says that she's not trying to have the biggest numbers, she's focusing on people. Her mission is relationships first, honest policy assessment second, and devoted service always. So whether you're looking for car, life, home, pet, or business insurance, I highly recommend Heather at the Hendrickson Agency. She even covers bikes and boats. I'll put her contact information in the show notes, and when you call the Hendrickson Agency for your insurance needs, tell them I said thanks for sponsoring the show. Thank you for listening to My Part of Town, Chattanooga. Our theme song is Chattanooga Skiffle by Lon Eldridge. Help with editing and social media provided by Kit Panaglima of Workergenics. Please be sure to subscribe and find us on social media so that you never miss an episode. I'd love to hear from you. So to tell me what makes this city special to you, or to learn more about what you heard, send an email over to mpotchattanooga@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. I can't wait to tell you more in our next episode of My Part of Town, Chattanooga.
Yes, for sure. And grab yourself a cookie or two.
Oh, thank you.
We always say nobody leaves without a cookie.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
That's the rule.